connecting, not displaying stream yet. Okay, we got it. Okay. Looks like we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and put the title card. Then pack 1. Okay. As per usual, we're gonna probably wait till the hour to properly start. But new graphics, I got a title card now. So it also functions as table of contents. Working on GIFs. I feel like this one's not quite right, but that's okay. Today we're going to be going over Metal Raiders and Tournament Pack 1. And someone in the first chat said that this is Normal Monsters Reviewed. And I thought it was really interesting observation. Because if we look at a graph, of the number of normal monsters per set, starting with Legend of Blue Eyes, we actually have like half the set as normal monsters, and then in Metal Raiders it's about 1/3 of the set, and then in Spell Ruler it's about 1/4 of the set. Same thing with Pharaoh's Servant and Labyrinth of Nightmare. Then when we get to Legacy of Darkness, Pharaonic Guardian, Magician's Force, Dark Crisis, all of these it's dropping off a little bit. And I think in Shadow of Destiny, that's not what SOD is. RDS, Rise of Destiny, and then Flaming Eternity, they'll go to 60 card packs. So I think that's 61 including the secret rare. So there's actually, I think, 4 normal monsters per pack, and then it might go up to 5 normal monsters per pack in the GX era. But the way it's skewed, it makes it sound pretty different. The way that I evaluated normal monsters is not quite right, because I wasn't evaluating in aggregate. I wasn't doing it correctly. I should have had per set, because per set the normal monsters are the strongest cards in those sets. It's just that power creep happened really fast. And if we go by the entire GOAT available card pool, it does not take into account that power creep. I think, like Legacy of Darkness, they're trying to make the normal monsters useful, which I think is a good design. I know Sealmaster Masai is one of the normal monsters that was trying to be useful because it had the talismans to turn off spells or traps. That's one. Sometimes their fusion material, like Psychroid, was another normal monster introduced. And later normal monsters at least have a lot of attack points, like Ninken Dog or Gemini Elf. But I think I was too harsh on the normal monsters in the very early game, and I'll accept that. Also, after Labyrinth of Nightmare, this is going to be a lot less normal monster review. I know the McDonald's packs have normal monsters, and I know the tournament packs have a good number of normal monsters, but I think after that, all the core sets are going to have at least interesting cards, for the most part. Turn the graph off. Put the picture back. Ooh. We're going to be going over Metal Raiders and Tournament Pack 1. So that's like 160 cards maybe. I am removing the reprints from Starter Deck Yugi and Starter Deck Kaiba. So some of the normal monsters that are in Metal Raiders are going to be skipped over. And that's because we already covered them in the previous stream. But I think everyone's in. 7 o'clock. I'm going to start. first card is Gate Guardian. And it's going to be a little controversial, probably. Gate Guardian, dark attribute, how many stars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? 11 stars? Very awkward. Warrior, effect monster. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by attributing 1 Sangha of the Thunder, Kazajin, and Suijin. 3750 attack, 3400 defense. Pretty much impossible to normal summon. Or definitely impossible to normal summon, but pretty much impossible to get out the correct way. There is a wild monster appears, and with pendulum monsters, you can pendulum summon out the 3 little ones and then summon Gate Guardian, but that's just awful. I actually don't think that it belongs in very bad, though. I think Gate Guardian in particular fits into the gimmick tier. Starting off things strong with that. So you can equip Gate Guardian from hand to Zubaba General and make it really strong. There might be a better option now, but I know that there's at least that gimmick. And I think that that's neat. Gate Guardian's pretty dumb. I'm not going to argue that point. Next up, Rock Ogre Grotto number 1. Earth attribute, level 3, Rock. Protected by a solid body of rock, this monster throws a bone-shattering punch. 1 punch rock. 800 attack, 1200 defense. I'm gonna put it in normal tier. Actually, this one might be slightly better than normal monsters, because you can make that Gorgon, that level 3 Gorgon with it, because it's a level 3 rock. Might be a rabbit target, at least. Next up, Armored Lizard. Earth attribute, level 4, Reptile. A lizard with a very tough blue hide and a vicious bite. 1500 attack, 1200 defense. Into the normal tier. If it was in Legend of Blue Eyes, it might be decent. Next up, Killer Needle. Wind attribute, level 4, Insect. A huge bee with exceptional strength that's particularly dangerous in a swarm. 1200 attack, 1000 defense. Looks like Beedrill. Goes into normal. This might have some utility if you're like using Doomdozer and you needed wind attributes with your advanced ritual art. I don't see it being useful though. Next up, Larvae Moth. Earth attribute, level 2, Insect effect monster. This monster cannot be normal summoned or set. Great start already. This card can only be special summoned by offering Petite Moth as a tribute on the second of your turns after Petite Moth has been equipped with Cocoon of Evolution. 500 attack, 400 defense. I guess you could put this one in the wild monster appears. I just don't understand why it's so bad. The name is Flick. I love your vids. So glad I got the notification. I'm glad too. Glad to have you aboard. Killer Bee Bros. Is that a Naruto reference? And hello, McAdam, or M-Adam. Next up, Harpy Lady. Wind attribute, level 4, Winged Beast. The human-shaped animal with wings is beautiful to watch, but deadly in battle. 1300 attack, 1400 defense. I don't know if Harpy Lady is useful because, like, you got Harpy Lady number 1, Harpy Lady 2, Harpy Lady 3 that come out later. And then you got, like, Cyber Harpy Lady, which counts as Harpy Lady. I guess if you wanted to put... I don't know. I guess if you wanted to put Rescue Rabbit in your Harpy deck, it would be okay. But it wouldn't be bad. I'm going to put it in filler outclassed. It's probably more useful to use other Harpy Ladies, but I can see a potential use in a meta deck. Ooh, Killer Needle is good in a giant ballpark deck. Okay. There's better options, but okay. Oh, by the way, this is another TCG censorship, so I got the OCG art for the tier list. Rain McKnight. Hello! Next up, Harpy Lady Sisters. Wind attribute, level 6, Winged Beast, effect. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned with Elegant Egotist. 1950, 2100. I'd say you actually ran Harpy Lady Sisters in your Harpy deck. I don't know how many copies of it you play, because Elegant Egotist can get out the normal Harpy Ladies, I think. But definitely meta at one point. Maybe one copy. Next up, Cocoon of Evolution. Earth attribute, level 3, insect effect monster. You can target one petite moth you control. Equip this card from hand to the target. While equipped by this effect, the original attack and defense of that petite moth becomes the attack and defense of Cocoon of Evolution. 0 attack, 2000 defense. I really like the design behind this, because it's like a Union monster before Union monsters, and it equips itself from hand, and that's just so forward thinking. And I think if this were how all the Union monsters came out, where they treated themselves as equip spells when you play them from the hand, and then maybe you could summon them later, I think the Union mechanic would be so much better. But this card's still really bad. Killer Needle is the best Goki Pole target for destruction effect. Low attack, wind, and 4-star. Yeah? But is Goki Pole good? It does have a lot of defense points, though. Cocoon of Evolution does have a lot of defense points. I'm gonna say maybe filler, because you have Giant Soldier of Stone, which just has way more attack points. Also level 3 with 2000 defense. So that is a good argument, though, McAdam. I said the name wrong again. Next up, Crawling Dragon. Earth attribute, level 5, Dragon. This weakened dragon can no longer fly, but it's still a deadly force to be reckoned with. 1600 attack, 1400 defense. It's so close, it's got just too many attack points to be special summoned with a Battle Floater or searched with Sangan. I'm putting it in very bad. Next up, Armored Zombie. Dark attribute, level 3, Zombie. This monster blindly slings a deadly blade with devastating... I'm gonna say that again. This warrior blindly slings a deadly blade with devastating force. 1500 attack, 0 defense. It's dark attribute, 0 defense, zombie master target. Level 3 with a lot of attack points. I don't know if this is ever useful, but I think it's better than most of the normal monsters. Maybe we'll put the B up and filler outclass too, because there is a use for it, but it's an extremely small niche. Next up, Mask of Darkness. Dark attribute, level 2, Fiend, flip effect monster. Flip. Target one trap in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. 900 attack, 400 defense. This card's good. This card's really good. I don't think it's worth considering today, but it is definitely meta for quite some time. It is a crush card target, so crush card virus, yeah. It gets back a trap. I don't think it's as good as Magician of Faith, but I think it's borderline staple in a lot of formats before like 2008, maybe? I've seen some in Monarch decks and some in stall decks. Good card. Next up, White Magical Hat. Light attribute, level 3. Spellcaster, effect. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, your opponent discards one card randomly from his or her hand. 1000 attack, 700 defense. So I was actually wrong about this card. It gets under Gravity Bind, it gets under Level Limit Area B, it gets under Messenger of Peace, and in some cases it's actually better than Don Zalug, which means that it saw some amount of meta play in very specific formats. I remember using Armored Zombie against stalling AIs in the Game Boy games. I think it's the highest attack 3-star monster. Works well against Gravity Bind / Level Limit Area B. I think Dragon Zombie is 1600 attack. And then later we have Sonic Duck and Mad Lobster with 1700 attack. And then later after that we have Jerry Beansman with 1750. Because Jerry Beansman is the best. Next up, borderline staple card, I think. We got Big Eye, but no, not that one. It is the Dark Attribute, level 4 monster, Fiend, flip effect. Flip, look at the top 5 cards from the deck. Look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck, then return them to the top of the deck in any order. 1200 attack, 1000 defense. I don't know where to put it. Like, pigeonholing Book of Spell or Spellbook Organization was meta, was sort of meta. This card gives you a lot of card selection. It's on a flip effect monster. Maybe in a very slow format. I don't know. Might put in filler outclass, maybe good on release. We'll put in filler for now. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a pretty decent effect in my opinion. Next up, B Skull Dragon. B stands for black because there wasn't enough room on the card. Dark Attribute, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another odd level. Dragon Fusion Monster. Materials are Summon Skull, Red Eyes Black Dragon. This card is always treated as an Archfiend card. 3200 attack, 2500 defense. I don't know. I'm not sure if you use this specifically because it's got the Summon Skull and the Red Eyes Black Dragon as fusion materials, because I know there's retrains that are better. So I don't know if it goes in Gimmick. It might go in Gimmick though. I'm gonna put it in Gimmick for now. A lot of the fusion monsters that don't do anything but were technically run in fusion decks at the time, I'm gonna start putting them into Gimmick tier. Just for the record, because meta at one point by technicality doesn't feel right. Good boss monster, but it's easy to bring out. Too high investment to be anything more than a Gimmick, yeah. I think that's fair. It's a dragon though, so maybe it's not too high investment. If you get it off with Dragon's Mirror, then that might not be too bad. Because Dragon's Mirror is 1-for-1. Is sort of 1-for-1. You need setup. Next up, Mass Sorcerer. Dark Attribute, level 4, Spellcaster, effect monster. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, draw 1 card from your deck. 900 attack, 1400 defense. I think this card goes all the way up to meta. This card's pretty good. I think I prefer this over Donzalug, but I completely understand anyone that's the other way around. Because I think actively drawing cards is better, situationally better, than making your opponent discard cards, because your opponent's not always going to have a hand. That's true. Dragon's Mirror is a lot better with 5-headed dragon. But that also takes more material. And what kind of weird deck is running Summon Skull and Red Eyes Black Dragon just on their own? I don't know. It stays in Gimmick for now. The name is Flick. Masked Sorcerer's artwork is so weird. I love it though. I think this is fantastic artwork. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! When it's weird, a little bit creepy, a little bit ethereal, dark. I think cards should stay dark. We don't need toys. We don't need cupcakes fighting each other. We don't need these cute little insects. I want nightmare fuel in my card game. Next up, Roaring Ocean Snake. Water attribute, level 6. Aqua Fusion. Materials are Mystic Lamp and Hayusube. 2100 attack, 1800 defense. We're going to put it in Gimmick because it's purple. This is the purple tier. What is he holding? I think he's holding like a little amulet. Maybe? I don't know. That's going to be a mystery for another day, is what is the Masked Sorcerer holding? Next up, I'm actually using the TCG artwork because I don't want the stream to be taken down. I don't think it's that bad, but I just want to be extra safe. Water Omotics is a water attribute, level 4, aqua monster. Transforms the water overflowing from a jar into attacking dragons. 1400 attack, 1200 defense. Put him in normal tier. The Magical Scientist FTK staple. Oh, you're right. But I'm going to say that Magical Scientist is still a gimmick as far as a use for Roaring Ocean Snake. Is that the one with... I don't think that's the one that uses Catapult Turtle, though, for the OTK. For the FTK. Next up, Ground Attacker Bugroth. Earth attribute, level 4, Machine. A surface battle robot that was once used for sea warfare. 1500 attack, 1000 defense. You'll see this card later as Amphibious Bugroth. And I think there's one other retrain later too. I know, all the cool flavor text gets used up. Effect monsters should also have it. Next up, Petite Moth. This card's been referenced a couple times already. Earth attribute, level 1, insect, normal monster. This small but deadly creature is better off avoided. 300 attack, 200 defense. Ain't it menacing? I feel like it should be lower than the normal tier though. It's just aggressively bad. So much wasted potential. As compared to Elegant Egotist. Normal spell. If Harpy Lady is on the field, special summon one Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters from your hand or deck. This card's real good. Petite Moth deserves its own tier? Okay. I might have broke something. Petite Moth is so strong, it breaks the tier list. Oh, you can't put white text? Okay, put it gray. There we go. But we're not talking about Petite Moth, we're talking about Elegant Egotist. This card's pretty good. I think just being able to special summon specific monsters from your deck is one of the strongest effects in the game. It's definitely a meta card. It is a staple in Harpy Ladies, and it's worth even bringing in the Harpy Lady sisters. The name Elegant Egotist is a little bit weird. I've always looked at the artwork, and how did they get that name? Well, the Japanese name is closer to kaleidoscope, and yeah, that looks like the inside of a kaleidoscope. Next up, one of the materials for Gate Guardian, Songa of the Thunder. By the way, it's got like lightning or thunder in the middle of it. I think that's cute. Light attribute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, level 7, Thunder effect monster. During damage calculation in your opponent's turn, if this card is attacked, you can change the attacking monster. Make that target's attack 0 during damage calculation. I can't read. You can target the attacking monster. Make that target's attack 0 during damage calculation only. This is a quick effect. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. 2600 attack, 2200 defense. I don't get it. It's so underwhelming for a level 7 monster. If you're using 2 monsters to tribute, you might as well bring out Blue Eyes at this point, because this effect is not particularly useful. Your opponent's going to see it coming. Okay, so what does a kaleidoscope have to do with summoning harpies? Well, you start with the Harpy Lady, and then you look through the kaleidoscope, and it turns 1 Harpy Lady into 3. It turns them into the Harpy Lady sisters. So you look at 1 through the kaleidoscope, and because it's got mirrors, it makes them into the 3. You're right, dies to removal. I know dies to removal is an argument against so many things, but right now it is especially bad. Next up, Kazagen, wind attribute, also level 7, spellcaster, effect monster. Why isn't this like a different kind, a different type? I don't know. What would I make it? I'd make it like storm type or wing beast or something. I don't know. Just looks weird for a spellcaster. During damage calculation in your opponent's turn, if this card is attacked, you can target the attacking monster. Make the target's attack 0 during damage calculation only. This is a quick effect. This effect can only be used once while this card is on the field. 2400 attack, 2200 defense. Wait a second. I'm sensing a pattern. Why are these the same? The Gate Guardians could have been good Union monsters. Otherwise, kinda underwhelming. Union monsters, sort of like the XYZ Dragon tank cannon monsters. I could see that. I could see that working together. I guess we're just before Union monsters, but we got ultimate. We got the Cocoon of Evolution, so we're halfway there. Oh, you're right. Now Kazagen is actually the one that dies to Fissure because it's got lower stats than Songa. Brilliant. And to round out the trio, we have the water one, Suijin, which is water, level 7, aqua effect. During damage calculation in your opponent's turn, if this card is attacked, you could target the attacking monster. Make the target's attack 0 during damage calculation only. This is a quick effect. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. 2500 attack, 2400 defense. They just recycled the effect. 3 different cards? We only have enough text for one of them. We'll write it 3 times. No one will notice. No one's gonna play Gate Guardian. Next up, Mystic Lamp. Oh, this one's fusion material. Dark attribute, 1 star. Spellcaster effect monster. This monster can attack your opponent's life points directly. 400 attack, 300 defense. There's actually several monsters introduced into this set that have the attack directly, and this is one of them, and it's not that bad of an effect. There aren't any good equip cards yet, so you can't be putting United We Stand or Mage Power on it yet, so it is definitely underwhelming, but it's not bad. Suijin had some degree of play in Duel Links, brought out by Tribute Doll and or Big Wave Small Wave. That must be the result of a weirdly restricted card pool, because you shouldn't be playing Suijin. The card has no initiative. You're just waiting for your opponent to attack into it. Next up, Steel Scorpion. Earth attribute, level 1, machine effect monster. A non-machine type monster attacking Steel Scorpion will be destroyed at the end phase of your opponent's second turn after the attack. 250 attack, 300 defense. Yikes. I mean, it's level 1, so you can 1-for-1 to bring it out, and then it's a machine with less than 500 attacks, so you could machine dupe, and then you can make a rank 3 with it, and this card is just really bad. It is so underwhelming because we have Maneater Bug. And it's sad to say that this card is just worse than Maneater Bug, and for some reason it doesn't even hit machines. I like the flavor, but I don't understand. I guess it's like a poison sting, and since machines are made of metal and not living, they're not gonna die. Except, like, are rocks living in the Yu-Gi-Oh world? Are rocks gonna get poisoned? I don't know. This is like super slow death touch or poison in other games. I think this is a cool idea executed terribly. You get points for creativity, but that's not going to get you very far. Next up, Ocubeam. So this is an angel card in Japanese. Like, it's got the word angel, so that's why it's a fairy. It's light attribute, level 5, fairy monster. Frightening in appearance, definitely. This creature uses its large eyes and ears to help track any movement. 1550 attack, 1650 defense. It's level 5. It's so awkward. It's so awkward. I'm putting it in very bad because you can't bring it out from the deck. It's level 5, so it's not even a cool target for Herald of Perfection with advanced ritual art. There might be some gimmick or extreme niche where it's useful, but I can't think of any. I agree. Machines do get all these little advantages. I know zombies are immune to paralysis from, I think, a card in this set, actually. I think Thunder Lizard is in this set. I like it from a flavor perspective, but from like a game balance perspective, it is weird. Next up, Legal. Earth attribute, level 1, insect effect monster. This monster may attack your opponent's life points directly. 300 attack, 350 defense. I'd say it's worse than Mystic Lamp, but it's an option if you're running something bad, like low attack, direct attack. This sort of sound like Watts before Watts were created, where you'd play Messenger of Peace and then chip away at your opponent's life points. I think in like super stall format, it might be useful, but there will be better options when we get there. Like Stealth Bird's pretty good in a stall format. Continuing the trend, we have Uguchi. Water attribute, level 1, Aqua effect. This monster may attack your opponent's life points directly. 300 attack, 250 defense. Is this a full attribute cycle where every attribute got a direct attacker? It might be. Because we got a dark, an earth, a water. I think there's a few more here. We'll see if every attribute got one. Wetlands Beatdown makes Uguchi playable. Ooh, that does bring it up. I mean, if it had 1500 attack. What is Sky Starray? I don't know what card is Sky Starray. I know Inaba White Rabbit is like that too, where it bounces itself back to hand and it sort of dodges removal as a result. No clue what Star Starray is. Next up, Leo Gun. Earth attribute, level 5. This is a trend. Beast. Huge monster with a lion's mane similar to the King of the Beasts. 1750 attack, 1550 defense. I guess might be better than AcuBeam. I have no idea when. Oh, wait. That's one of the banish fish. We are nowhere close to banish fish for Sky Starray. I don't know about that. I think that comparison's a little bit out there because weren't the Watts out and the Watts are just better? Like Watt Hydra and Watt Cobra. Next up, Blast Juggler. Fire attribute, level 3, Machine. Effect monster. Offer this card as a tribute during your standby phase if face up to destroy 2 face up monsters with an attack of 1000 or less. 800 attack, 900 defense. It's not bad. This is a useful effect. If you're hypothetically playing against those direct attackers, you can use it. I don't know if it's all the way into good on release or if just filler outclassed. Because this is reasonable, I think it might have seen a little bit of super early meta experimentation, but it's hard to find records from back then. Next up, Genzo number 7. Dark attribute, level 2, Machine effect. This monster can attack your opponent's life points directly. 500 attack, 400 defense. Another machine dupe target. So I guess you summon Genzo number 7, you activate machine dupe, you attack for 1500. I'd much rather get Card Trooper out with that. I guess it's the best so far though. It's got the most attack, and machine's a pretty good type. Next up, Magician of Faith. Light attribute, level 1, Spellcaster, flip effect monster. Flip. Target 1 spell in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. 300 attack, 400 defense. I don't know if it's all the way up at worth considering today. It's definitely been meta for quite some time. This card's been on the ban list like half of its lifetime, I'd say. It's definitely meta. In fact, it might be higher. I don't know. Harpies are pretty good. maybe like that sub-tier organization. Magician of Faith, really good. I think it's been banned historically for longer than it should have been, but still really good. It's hilarious that Jinzo number 7 predates the actual Jinzo. Oh yeah, it does, because that comes out in Pharaoh's Servant, I think. That is weird. Machine dupe plus limiter removal for the most inconsistent OTK. We don't have either of those cards yet, and that's like 3,000 damage, which is not enough. No, we can't make Jinzo 7 good yet. I mean, at least we got to get like Jinzo Returner and some of the other Jinzo support, and then still nothing, but at least it's an option. Deep Sea Shark. Water attribute, level 5, fish fusion monster. Materials are Bottom Dweller and Tongyo. 1900 attack, 1600 defense. I don't know where it goes. Run in meta decks as Metamorphosis target, not a good one. You can bring it out for Magical Scientists for that FTK that was mentioned earlier. And it's an instant fusion target, so... And a shark. It's actually a level 5 shark, and like there's a level 5 shark archetype that makes water rank monsters, so you could instant fusion this guy out. Does that mean it's worth considering today, or is it a gimmick? I really don't know. I think we're gonna put it in gimmick to be safe, but I could see someone arguing put this in your extra deck, bring it out with instant fusion, make a shark or something. Next up, Bottom Dweller. Water attribute, level 5, fish. This is one sea creature whose wrath is something monsters fear to face. 1650, 1700. Ah, that's so bad. This is silly, but I remember this being a level 4 monster with those stats. Maybe I was running a Legendary Ocean or something, but man, that's worse. That's so bad. Put them together so they can be friends. Next up, Destroyer Golem. Earth attribute, level 4, rock, normal monster. A golem with massive right hand for crushing its victims. 1500 attack, 1000 defense. I mean, it goes a normal monster. It's not bad, it's better than the rock ogre. Next up, Kaminari Attack. Wind attribute, level 5, Thunder, Fusion. Ocubeam, materials are Ocubeam and Mega Thunderball. 1900 attack, 1400 defense. I'd say we'll keep it in the gimmick tier. It makes a little bit more sense that Ocubeam is an angel as fusion material for this. Makes a little bit more sense than when I was growing up, but still really bad. Okay, so Kaminari Attack is specifically an instant fusion target in Thunder Dragon decks. Oh yeah, Thunder Dragons are level 5, right? Interesting. Does that make it meta? Or are Thunder Dragons even good enough to be considered now? Thunder Dragon staple? Okay, we'll put it in worth considering. That's very fair. All these bad vanillas make me feel bad. Victims of the rapid acceleration of the TCG compared to the OCG, where the original premium level 4 attacker was Hitosu Mi Giant. I don't know if that was the original premium. I know Beautiful Headhuntress came out pretty early, but I don't know when. Okay. What tier is Thunder Dragon decks right now? Like, Rogue? I don't know. We'll put it in either meta at 1 point or worth considering today. But that's a surprise I did not expect. Next up, Rainbow Flower. Earth attribute, level 2, plant effect monster. This monster can attack your opponent's life points directly. 400 attack, 500 defense. I think that's the reverse of Jinzo number 7, so it goes next to it. Not bad. Also, the artwork on like the Konami website has super vibrant colors for some reason, and I like it. Creepy artwork? No, it's a beautiful flower. I guess the pot is a little creepy. I think the pot is hungry. Next up, Morinfin. Dark attribute, level 5, fiend type monster. A strange fiend with long arms and razor sharp talons. 1550 attack, 1300 defense. It's one of the worst ones so far. But this card is actually interesting because I didn't know this. But there's a magic card that this seems to be based on, at least the translated name, based on Morinfin. So this is a 5 mana with 3 generic, 2 black, legendary creature that's got flying and cumulative upkeep 1 life. So that means during your upkeep, you're going to have to pay 1 life on the first turn, 2 life on the second turn, 3 life on the third turn, and it just keeps going up. I looked into its eyes, and its soul was so empty, I saw no reflection, no light there. Crotax. It is 5 attack, 4 health, 4 hit points, 4 toughness. It's called toughness in Magic. And this card is bad. I think we had Sanguine Vampire like at the same cost and I think the same mana weight. I don't understand why this card is legendary. I don't understand why it's so bad. But we're not reviewing Magic cards too much right now. I also read on the wiki that Morinfin is the OCG equivalent to Shape Snatch as far as a meme card. I don't know if that can be confirmed though, but it's really weird. I don't understand this card. It's not good. It's definitely in what tier? It's like the bottom of very bad. But it's interesting at least. Apparently, Morinfin even had its own sleeves and field mat and Duel Links because it is such a meme. That's cool. I like that. Why? Why do people gravitate around these weird old cards? Next up, Tonggyo. Water attribute, level 4, fish. This monster captures any fish with its long tongue and sucks the energy out of them. It looks like its tongue actually breaks into 3. And yeah, this guy's named after his tongue. It's like a portmanteau of tongue, and I think gyo is fish, so it's tongue fish. I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable. Like some people were creeped out by Rainbow Flower, I'm creeped out by this guy. Very interesting card though. Next up, Empress Judge. Earth attribute, level 6, Warrior Fusion. Materials are Queen's Double and Hibikimi. 2000 attack, 1700 defense. I'm going to put it in gimmick tier since you can't instant fusion it out. Morbinfin. Okay, that... I don't think it's famous because of Morbin time. Girl, what is in your hair? I don't know. Sunlight, maybe? Here's that card we referenced earlier. Electric Lizard. Earth attribute, level 3, Thunder Effect Monster. A non-zombie type monster attacking Electric Lizard cannot attack on its following turn. 850 attack, 800 defense. I love talking about older sets because there are so many weird cards like this. This is great flavor because like a machine that attacks it gets paralyzed because it's shocked, and any other living thing gets paralyzed and it gets shocked. But like zombies are undead, so they don't get paralyzed, which is a really cool effect. I'd love to see this type of stun effect be used more often. But I'm gonna put it in bad. I don't think it's useful. I think it's actually a detriment and not worth running, and not just because zombies are so powerful. Next up, Hunter Spider, Earth attribute, level 5, insect. This monster feeds on whatever it catches in its web. 1600 attack, 1400 defense, and that artwork is not good. I guess Morbin Fin might be the best card in very bad? I don't know. All of these early effect monsters are so weird and cool. Like, you have cards like Maneater Bug that you get that's awful flavor, little guys, and I wish they were better. Oh, wait. Like, you have cards like Maneater Bug. Then you get these awful cards, flavorful little guys, and I wish they were done better. Junk Synchron chimes in. This is the one. I can feel it. We talked about Junk Synchron last stream. I'm not reviewing it again. I don't have that overlay ready, but still hope you enjoy the stream. Junk Synchron's a good card, just not the subject of this video. Next up, Ancient Lizard Warrior. Earth attribute, level 4, reptile. Before the dawn of man, this lizard warrior ruled supreme. This particular one, he must be really old. 1400 attack, 1100 defense. I think this is like a counterpart card to Armored Lizard, right? Is Junk Synchron better or worse than Morbin Fin, though? Does Junk Synchron have its own sleeves? Next up, Queen's Double. Earth attribute, 1 star. Warrior effect monster. This monster can attack your opponent's life points directly. 350 attack, 300 defense. I don't think this is a full attribute cycle, in retrospect. I think we've had like multiple earth and a couple dark. It's fusion material. Okay, next up, Trent. I don't know where to put this, but Trent is an Earth attribute, level 5, plant, normal monster. A guardian of the woods, this massive tree is believed to be immortal. 1500 attack, 1800 defense. List is getting a little long. I'm glad we haven't had any game-breaking cards yet. I'm gonna put in Gimmick. There's a rather infamous OTK video that involves Trent. It's not a good card, but at one point it was you could OTK with it. It's not a full attribute cycle. They just randomly printed them, printed like 10 of them for no reason, and they seem to have no cohesiveness beyond different types. But I don't think it's a full type cycle either. Full type cycles are crazy. You'd have to have like 30 different cards. I don't think we'll ever see a full type cycle. Trent is a cool guy. And it's just a name. I think it's supposed to be a portmanteau of tree and ent, but they didn't spell it like treant, and it just came out Trent. Next up, Disc Magician. Dark attribute, level 4, machine normal monster. This monster hides in its saucer and only appears when executing an attack. 1350, 1000. Is this guy like the spirit of a Beyblade? Because, I mean, we can let it rip, but it's not getting out of normal tier. Next up, Hayusube. Water attribute, level 4, Aqua Monster. This amphibian is strong on the attack, but leaves much to be desired when defending. 1500 attack, 900 defense. I think this flavor text is a reference to kappas. Like, this looks like a kappa already, and they have a little saucer of water on their head. So if you can trick them into looking down, they'll pull out the saucer of water and then they'll let you go. I think this is one of those, like, they're aggressive on the attack, but if you distract them, then you can get right past them. I think this might be flavor text that are influencing mechanics, which would be really cool, but good design on a normal monster, but still a normal monster. I mean, it's got a decent amount of attack points. I'm convinced that early Yu-Gi-Oh artists just do not know how to draw hair. It's simultaneously so clumpy and wispy. It's like they haven't shampooed in weeks. Yeah, I doubt kappas even know what shampoo is. I remember seeing a Trent play at a concert once. Definitely. It's so funny because it's just a normal name. Next up, Hibikime. Earth attribute, level 4, Warrior. It's a Rota target. Confuses enemy monsters with a noise that is harsh to the ears. And look, it's got the little scythe that doubles as a, what is that, a quarter note? It's cute. I like it. It's still a normal monster. I guess it's a cute normal monster. This is one of the other cards that has, I think Sonic Maid is the counterpart. A lot of the old monsters come in doubles. Here's another one that was specifically requested for cards to consider. Fake Trap, which is a normal trap card. Activate only when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, or monster's effect that would destroy a trap cards you control. Destroy this card instead. If the cards that would have been destroyed are face down, you can look at them to confirm. So I'm guessing that text is there specifically if your opponent activates Heavy Storm, because then they would be destroying their own traps. And this protects your traps. No, that's not right. I don't know why this card had such awkward text. Ancient Gear Golem. Ooh, another monster. I'm going to have to put an Ancient Gear Golem overlay on the stream sometime, because Junk Synchron got one. Hi. First time I catch a stream for you. Just wanted to tell you you're really underappreciated and deserve way more subs. I don't think so. I think I'm doing extremely well, and I've been very fortunate with the audience that I've grown so far. I really appreciate the support from everyone, and thank you. I always get such nice words of encouragement, and only the occasional I respectfully disagree, or you misread this card, it doesn't do what you think it does. Both of which highly encouraged, because that's half the reason why I'm reading every card on stream, is so that I make less mistakes in the future. By the way, Fake Trap actually has a double censorship. If you look real closely in the Japanese artwork, obviously you have the word for fake replacing the English word false. But then I think this is Goblin Calligrapher has a little bit of a horn in Japan, and you know we gotta remove all the horns when we censor things. I don't know if this card is good though. I don't know if it's bad. Like right now, obviously you'd use Starlight Road. Starlight Road is so much better because you get a Stardust Dragon out of it, even if it can't special summon itself a second time. That means you get to negate once and then you get to negate again. And if you're negating trap cards, there's a much better option in this set. And like at this point, you got Reaper of the Cards, you got Trap Master, and you got Remove Trap. So even at its time, it's not particularly good because there's just not a lot of trap removal. Ooh, he can be used to protect trap monsters. Is that useful? It might be useful. I think that's still gimmicky though, and not the fun gimmicky. The like, oh, that's cute. Might happen in the anime sometime. I double indexed. Okay, next card up is Tribute to the Doomed. Normal spell. Discard one card, then target one monster on the field. Destroy it. Okay, so I'm going to be clarifying a rule real quick. So I have way up at the tippy top design mistake, and technically this card has received errata. In fact, it's even received a effect changing errata because I don't think this card originally indicated whether or not it targeted, and now since it targets, there's more cards that are immune to it. In addition, the name of this card was slightly changed. I think they uncapitalized one of the T's, so I think the T and the got uncapitalized, which is not great. It means that this card will be missing from certain deck lists that are case sensitive, like the Hero Monster debacle. Anyway, that's sort of errata. I'm not going to count anything like problem-solving card text or extremely minor changes that don't impact the functionality of the card are not considered design mistakes. Those are more like little growing pains as the game has evolved and improved. I don't know what Bad Fella said. He retracted it. But Tribute to the Doomed, it goes all the way up to meta at one point. This was pretty premium removal. It's a -1 in card advantage, but you get to choose a target. In some ways, it's better than Fisser. It's going to be outclassed by Dark Core, Karma Cut, Phoenix Wing Windblast, Raigeki Break, Sakuretsu Armor. There's a whole bunch of things that are going to outclass it later, but right now, it's pretty good. And later, it is going to see a little bit of meta adoption. Tribute to the Doomed is such a well-designed card, though, in a sea in design mistakes that is early Yu-Gi-Oh! I agree, it's very, very full. Filler outclassed, a lot of cards do what it does but better. Yes, they do, but are those cards out yet? Bad Fella says, I was saying about how I used Fake Trap in certain GOAT decks. Mainly used it against Heavy Storm. Okay. Federico Juarez. Uncapitalized errata? Unplayable. I don't like communist cards. Game unplayable. Capitalization error. I'm quitting Yu-Gi-Oh! Silly Robos says, well, no, because all of those are traps. The thing that directly outclasses it would be Offerings to the Doomed. I don't know if Offerings to the Doomed is necessarily better. Because do you prefer discarding a card from hand or do you prefer skipping your draw phase? It is a quick play spell. Offerings to the Doomed is good in that regard. But a lot of cards can trigger in the graveyard, or a lot of cards like to be discarded, like the Fableds and the Dangered. I'm not sure if the Dangereds would trigger. I'd have to look up the wording of danger monsters before I say something dumb. I think this is an area where there is redundance in the effect, but not where one is specifically better than the other. It is a very good note, though, about offerings to the doomed. I think the card is a definite reference to the card, but I don't think it's strictly better. Next up, Soul Release. Normal spell, target up to 5 cards in any graveyards. Banish them. Very simple effect. I mean, this card's not good on release. I'd say it's filler outclassed, but I actually have been seeing some deck lists from dad formats that are playing Soul Release, and I think it's specifically to get dark monsters out of the graveyard. Like, you could modulate the number of dark monsters in both graveyards for your dad, or to remove their dad, the ability for them to summon their dad, or to at least deplete ammo for it. There are definitely use cases for Soul Release. One of the other things you could do is, when they're only running one copy of Blaze Accelerator, you can use Soul Release and banish that one copy, and then they can't get it back with Volcanic Slicer, or Volcanic Rocket. Ancient Gear Golem? Oh man, I just saw Legal. That card was my very first card ever. A friend of mine gave it to me in exchange for 2 biscuits at school. Great times. That might be a good trade. Worth considering today, maybe. Banishing key cards is good. So Soul Release would be great if it was like a hand trap. If this was a monster, even if it banished itself, I think Mass DD Crow would be useful, but because it's a normal spell, it is way too slow. I think you're better off sticking to Skullmeister, Dimension Shifter, or DD Crow at this point. It's all play in Edison format. Oh, that's cool. Very interesting. Soul Release is more of a meta card than I thought. And not just in 2006. I think Edison format's like into the Synchro Age. Oh, and I am using the TCG art on both the tier list and the card just because I don't want to get hit. Because the OCG art is a little saucy. Next up, the Cheerful Coffin. I like this card. I like the OCG artwork too. I like how it has the cross. I don't know why we removed those, but really good artwork in my opinion. This is a normal spell. You can discard up to 3 monster cards from your hand to the graveyard. Such a simple effect. I don't know if this card was ever good, but it does have a niche use in that you can discard 3 Dark World monsters and get their effects, because this is a card effect, it's not a cost. So Dark Worlds will trigger. I don't know if the critical mass of cards necessary for Dark Worlds to trigger at the time included this, because you had Graceful Charity, then you had Dark World Lightning, you had Drag Down, Card Destruction, Morphing Jar. I don't know if the Cheerful Coffin fits into that deck, but it could potentially be an option, because I saw Brawn being run, and Brawn is just awful. Like, you don't play Brawn if you don't have to. Hand Destruction was already out before Cheerful Coffin. Well, Hand Destruction doesn't trigger Dark Worlds, but yeah, Hand Destruction is fair. Card Destruction, definitely better. I'm going to keep it in filler outclass, though. Cheerful Coffin is a cost with no effect? I don't know. I think this is discard by effect. How many rulings does the Cheerful Coffin have? And I'm sorry, Ancient Gear Golem, that you lost your leg hole. That does feel bad, man. Very interesting. This card has so much chalk. Such a simple effect. Next up, Baby Dragon. Wind attribute, level 3, dragon, normal monster. Much more than just a child, this dragon is gifted with untapped power. 1200 attack, 700 defense. Sounds like a lot of Joey's cards have untapped potential. Like if Joey was the protagonist, I think he'd have better cards. Definitely be less luck reliant. Next up, Blackland Fire Dragon. Dark attribute, level 4. Dragon. A dragon that dwells in the depths of darkness. Its vulnerability lies in its poor eyesight. 1500 attack, 800 defense. This card's actually in the Bondi set, and the artwork for it is cool. I like that. But it's still a normal monster. So, when we do get to actual archetype cards, I'm gonna set a specific guideline and say that when we're evaluating archetypes, it's everything up until that point, but for it to be considered an archetype, it has to have multiple cards with internal synergy. I'm gonna say like roughly 5 cards to be a playable deck, because I know Burning Abyss launched with, I think, 1 extra deck monster, 3 main deck monsters, and 1 trap card, and the deck was completely functional. I mean, with Tour Guide, of course, but I'm thinking 5 is a rough number of cards with internal synergy for us to really start thinking about it as an archetype and as a deck. So Swamp Battle Guard, Lava Battle Guard are not there yet. Earth attribute, level 5, Warrior effect monster. This card gains 500 attack for each Lava Battle card you control. 1800 attack, 1500 defense. I know there's a specific card that will bring out level 5 warrior monsters from your hand that supports these two specifically. Still not good. I can't imagine this being good in any case. And it's not, it doesn't even go in the normal tier. I guess it goes in the bad tier. Indeed, card destruction definitely discards by card effect. Hand destruction sins. But that's an easy mistake. I misspeak all the time, and it's super obvious to everyone who's watching, but you just miss it because things get stuck in working memory when you're editing. So Guardians are not an archetype. So I think this is referencing Guardian monsters, the ones with the equip spells, not Winged Dragon Guardian of the Fortress, Guardian Sphinx, Big Shield Gardna. That's not a Guardian monster. They don't have much synergy. I don't think you play Guardians together. I don't know. They have Arsenal Summoner, and that's like the only thing they have in common. Guardians are just weird. One day, we'll finally get cards like Break Feast of the Wild level 5. It's the Snake Rain of level 5 warriors. Ooh. Snake Rain is such a good card, but the rest of the cards around it are not good. Snake Rain might be so good that it is warping the design space around reptile monsters where they can't print any good reptiles. I like Snake Rain so much. I've been wanting to talk about Snake Rain for quite some time, but I can't get the video together. It's just so cool. Guardians are really bad except for Gyarados. So Arsenal Summoner, actually real good card. I think the Grawl one, the one with the Gravity Axe, can special summon itself from hand, which is actually a pretty decent effect. But yeah, Guardians are pretty bad. The Butterfly Dagger Elma, really good though. Guardians are a deck, but it's at least tier 78. Ugh. So much talk about Guardians. We're not there yet. Zombies are really good. You might got Mizuki, you got Gozuki, you got Book of Life, you got Call of the Mummy, you got what are some of the Zombie Master, you got the blue-blooded Oni, the yellow-blooded Oni, you got a lot of fun zombie cards. So I understand why. Ooh, Eldritch. I don't think they're running Battle Steer, which is an Earth attribute, level 5 Beast Warrior monster. A bull monster often found in the woods. It changes enemy attacks. It charges enemy monsters with a pair of deadly horns. You sure you don't want to use that trident? 1800 attack, 1300 defense. There's a better level 4 monster right now. Have you heard of La Jin? Next up, Time Wizard. Light attribute, level 2, spellcaster, effect monster. Once per turn, you can toss a coin and call it. If you call it right, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. If you call it wrong, destroy as many monsters you control as possible. And if you do, take damage equal to half the total attack those destroyed monsters had on the field. 500 attack, 400 defense. So, Time Wizard can easily be in Gimmick, and I think that's completely fair. Time Wizard is sort of good, though. I mean, it's not great, but when Dark Hole is banned, Raigeki is banned, Time Wizard is fair. One of the things that you can do is, if you're going second, just normal summon Time Wizard, activate effect. If you get it wrong, you've lost your normal summon, and you've lost your monster, but you only lose a marginal amount of life points. But if you get it right, you can break your opponent's entire board. Silky Robes has the insight. You just gotta call it right, forehead. Next up, Sagi the Dark Clown. Dark attribute, level 3, spellcaster. This clown appears from nowhere and executes very strange moves to avoid enemy attacks. 600 attack, 1500 defense. Ooh. Straight into normal tier. Now, if it had the negative energy, the dark energy card from the anime and manga, maybe. I mean, this card's gotten a few retrains. It's cool. I love the artwork. I love clowns. Wish it had been better. Next up, Dragon Piper. Fire attribute, level 3, Pyro effect monster. Pyro flip effect. I guess this card hasn't had a reprint in forever. Flip. Destroy all face-up dragon capture jars on the field. If you destroy any, change all face-up dragon-type monsters on the field to attack position. 200 attack, 1800 defense. So, I have no idea why, but Konami has printed some extremely narrow counter cards. Like there's Anti-Raigeki, Call from the Grave, I think is the one that negates like Monster Reborn or Call of the Haunted. White Hole, which stops the Dark Hole. There's Jar Robber, which stops Pot of Greed. There's so many of these extremely narrow counter cards. I have no idea why. There's even one for Swords of Revealing Light that's Weather Report, that like if you pop Swords of Revealing Light, you get 2 battle phases for the price of 1. Just not good though. Someone in Konami must have won, or someone in Konami really hated losing to Dragon Capture Jar. Oh, it's an overpowered strategy. It's not like we have Remove Trap or Trap Master at this point. There's no way to get rid of trap cards. We gotta run a specific counter card. Next up, Illusionist Faceless Mage. Dark Attribute, level 5. Spellcaster. Manipulates enemy attacks with the power of illusion. 1200 attack, 2200 defense. I mean, that's not a bad amount of defense. It's better than a level 4 monster. Still very bad. Oh, but you can bring this one out with Mystic Tomato. Does that make it better? Do I want to get this level 5 out with Mystic Tomato? Probably not. I think the way to make these extremely narrow cards is give them additional utility, where like if Jar Robber had an additional effect where you could shuffle a card from your hand to the deck, then draw 1 card, it would be pretty good, because then you'd be able to use it for 2 different things, like choose 1 effect. But the way that they are, these extremely narrow counter cards are only good for anime moments. And that's just the anime. The anime is not how you learn how to play the game well. This is a tomato bait card. Oh. Still not good. Next up, Sengan. So, it took me, well, I was today years old. So, Sengan, as I used to call it, should be pronounced Sangan? Like the number 3 and then Gan means eyes. So this guy is a 3-eyed monster whose name is 3 Eyes. It's also a level 3. I think the Japanese for this card is Kurita, like the transliteration of critter. But San John. I don't know if it's pronounced San John, but that's a good one. Ooh. Search for a key card. Okay. We'll get to rating it after we go over the card, because Sangan or Sanjan is a very interesting card. Dark Attribute, level 3. Fiend Effect Monster. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add 1 monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. But you cannot activate cards or effective cards with that name for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Sangan once per turn. 1000 attack, 600 defense. And you guys might have noticed that this card has had an effect changing errata, which means it goes all the way up to Design Mistake, which is sad. I don't know if Sangan was balanced the way it was before. It searches so many cards, but I think this is way overkill. I guess the best use for Sangan right now is just what Ancient Gear said, where you'd play it onto the field, link it away, and then look for like a hand trap to use next turn. The S and the N are silent in Sangan, so its name is Saga? I don't think that's right. I think it just has to be considered a design mistake. I don't... If Sangan had its original effect, though, it'd probably be too powerful for play. I actually think that the problem is the way that it was ruled with Tour Guide, that it still got the search effect when detached, and that might have been just too much to put it over the edge. And then Link monsters really make it too much. Actually, wait. Okay, it's if not when, so it won't miss the timing, so that's not a problem. The Sangan errata is so painful. I think the hopped would have been enough, but it had to have that extra stipulation attached. Hard once per turn. I think that the effect being changed to a hard once per turn would have been enough, but then it had to have that extra stipulation attached. It says Silky Robos. All decks were secretly Sangan beatdown. The rest is just filler. I don't know if they changed the ruling for Sangan with material. I don't know if XZ's material are considered on the field or not anymore. Okay, so Sangan was a win at some point. That's why I was confused. Now it's an if, which is a lot better. Next up, Great Moth. Earth attribute, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? 7, 8? This card, I remember this card being level 7, but I guess not. Insect effect monster. This monster cannot be normal summoned or set. Great start. This card can only be special summoned by tributing Petite Moth on the 4th of your turns after Petite Moth has been equipped with Cocoon of Evolution. 2600 attack, 2500 defense. You have to wait 4 whole rounds to get this guy out. And if you forget, or if you don't have this card in hand at the right time, and you wait a 5th round, you can't get it out. It's so bad. Like, this is one of the worst cards in the game, and it's not just because Cocoon of Evolution is bad. Cocoon of Evolution is a pretty cool idea. Petite Moth is a bad card, but Petite Moth is so bad it's got its own tier. Oh. It's got its own tier named Moth. But it's just, it's so sad. It's so sad. There's another one that's even worse later, Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, that takes 6 turns, and it's got like bigger numbers, but big numbers. These big numbers aren't even that big. It's got same defense as Blue Eyes White Dragon, same level as Blue Eyes White Dragon, and 400 less attack. I don't understand. By the way, are you going to go over every single set or just classic ones? I'm not just going over every set. I'm going over every card in order of TCG release to the best of my abilities. So that includes like smaller sets, booster packs. That includes structure and starter decks when they introduce new cards. That includes video game promos. But specifically for video game promos, I'm probably just going to do the North American region because it will get extremely messy if I try to do all the different TCG regions, because for some reason Konami releases different cards in different regions at different times with the same games, but usually the North American gets them first and then other regions might get them later as reprints. It's just so confusing. I go over it in reviewing video game cards if you want more detail, but we're getting there. I'm glad you're looking forward to it. Hopefully I'm going to be able to do this every Wednesday. I wasn't able to last Wednesday because family always comes first. will you be going over special tournament cards that aren't playable? Okay, I think this means illegal cards. So, match winners outside of Victory Dragon are illegal cards. You cannot use them in tournament play. Victory Dragon you could use for some amount of time, and it's dumb. It's super dumb. Don't like Victory Dragon. I think that card is so poorly designed. I am going to be going over certain special cards that will be really difficult to attain. Like, I'm going to go over Tyler the Great Warrior, because that's an interesting card, and I like the way that it was made. We'll talk about that more in detail when we get there. Respectfully, of course. And I'm trying to think. There are a few, like Cyberstein, extremely powerful tournament card that had very little distribution, and Crush Card's another one where it was just really hard to get the card. We're going to be considering them as if you could run a playset of them. So, money is no object. Doesn't matter if there's only one card in existence. For the way they're being reviewed, you can play a full set. The moth cards have so much wasted potential. It's hard to look at them. Oh, and those eyes. You're just drawn to those eyes. Camouflage is working. There are the Cocoon of Ultra Evolution, but you're not playing the original moth cards with the Cocoon of Evolution. You're playing the new retrains. And it doesn't make them good. Ooh. Someone made a Tyler deck in real life. Oh, that's cool. I think Tyler the Great Warrior, I think it's going to be an interesting rating. It's going to be a little bit funny seeing like 10 tiers and only one card because it's in its own special set though. Okay. We're getting back to the cards though. Next up, Karibo. Karibo is a Dark Attribute, level 1, Fiend, effect monster. During damage calculation, if your opponent's monster attacks, quick effect, you can discard this card. You take no battle damage from that battle. 300 attack, 200 defense. It's a 1-for-1 target. You can search for it with a particular Flute of Summoning Karibo and add it to hand, or you could special summon it to the field, and then you got a level 1 that you could do something with. I don't think this card is awful. I think this card is super gimmicky. It is the granddaddy of all hand traps, though. I don't know where you put Karibo. It puts a dark monster in graveyard. That's pretty good. It's not bad. You wouldn't be playing it. I think it's good in filler. No way. Killer Needle is in a Bee Trooper deck? Like the actual Killer Needle. I guess we gotta put Killer Needle even higher? Does it go in meta? Does it even go in worth considering today? I don't know. I think Killer Needle is just slowly going to keep climbing the ladder until it's a design mistake. Next up, Jellyfish. Not like mystic jellyfish or toxic jellyfish or gooey undersea spooky jellyfish, just jellyfish. Water attribute, level 4, Aqua Monster. An almost invisible semi-transparent jellyfish that drifts in the sea. 1200 attack, 1500 defense. I mean, it's a normal monster. What do you expect? But I think that the name is just so silly. Next up, Castle of Dark Illusions. Dark attribute, level 4. It's got the character for dark in the center there. Doo-doo. This is a fiend effect. I guess it hasn't had the problem-solving text to say that it's a flip effect. Fiend flip effect on the ability line. Flip. All zombie-type monsters gain 200 attack and defense. During each of your next 4 standby phases, each of those zombie-type monsters gain 200 more attack and defense. These effects last as long as this card is face-up on the field. Why? I don't know why. This card is definitely an anime card. Okay, so the stat line is based on like field advantage, where you get a 15% increase or something really weird by being in a graveyard or something. The anime doesn't really make sense, but that's why it has 920 attack and 1930 defense. I understand people might say, I don't know. This card's weird. This card is so weird. I think this is a little cursed, to be honest. If you're running zombie cards, 200 attack and defense, plus an additional 200 attack and defense. It's got a lot of defense points, but not the most. I think filler outclassed is fair. Oh, it does have the debuff of causing confusion to your opponents, because then they have to do the calculation that's not in an interval of 50. Of course. I can see it being a design mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake because it's so awkward, but it's definitely awkward. At least it's not a level 5. That is very true. If it boosted Fiends specifically, it could have been okay. That's from John Castillo. Yeah, doesn't Panic use some Fiends in addition to zombies? Or if it was a zombie itself from Silky Robos. I don't think we're gonna use the stream to retrain Castle of Dark Illusions, but I think the card is not great, but it's not that bad for the time. Next up, King of Yamimakai. Dark attribute, level 5, Fiend. Wields the power of darkness to destroy its enemies. 2000 attack, 1530 defense. Yeah, another weird one from the anime. I don't know, maybe we do put them in design mistake. Like, just by technicality. Because they are weird. Otherwise it's like in very bad. As far as how good the card is, it's very bad. Probably Larvae Moth is right next to Great Moth in terms of power. Ooh, King of Yamimakai, which I think is just Dark World. Yami is darkness. Finally, a single tribute that receives the 2000 attack mark. Yeah, but we have Summon Skull in the game right now, so 2000 is not going to cut it. I remember seeing, like, in one of the magazines, they said that Earl of Dim Demise was good because it was a 1 tribute with 2000 attack, and we had Summon Skull in the game at the time. I guess that set didn't have many selling points. He shows up in the Art of DD cards. Oh. This is not a lore tier list, unfortunately. Maybe we'll do a recurring character lore tier list at some point, but right now we're working on, level of success within the game. Next up, Catapult Turtle. I actually had a Spanish version of this card, and it was Catapult Tortuga, and it was cute. I didn't realize, but I could probably have brought that card to tournaments, because you don't necessarily need English versions of the card, but I don't know. And I only ever had the Spanish version. Water attribute, level 5, Aqua effect. Once per turn, you can tribute one monster. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the tribute monster's attack on the field. 1,000 attack, 2,000 defense. That's actually a lot of defense points, and that means that you could probably get it out with Mother Grizzly if you wanted to. And if you haven't realized, that once per turn clause was added way later. This card is so broken that it's a design mistake and had to be fixed. In my opinion, almost every tribute to burn card is a design mistake. Like the OCG will tell you, because they just flat out ban most of them. But, oh, I'm wrong. It wasn't that. It was Tortuga Catapulta. I think Summon Skull is even in this set Metal Raiders. Now that I think of it. I think it's just omitted from the list because we don't want to go over the same cards multiple times. I do agree that design mistake, highest tier, this means too good for it to actually be in the game. So, highest ranking, highest honors goes to design mistakes. Next up, Mystic Horseman. Earth attribute, level 4, beast, normal monster. Half man and half horse. I wonder which half is man and which half horse. This monster is known for its extreme speed, but not necessarily its attack at 1300 attack, 1550 defense. We'll put it in normal tier. So, specifically how I'm going to count errated cards, if it's got a name-changing errata, that doesn't count. If it's got an effect-changing errata, if it's not problem-solving text, but something like Sinister Serpent, or what's another good one? Sangan, Witch of the Black Forest. A lot of cards, Dark Strike Fighter, that have had an errata to come off of the ban list, those go in design mistakes. And cards that never come off the ban list, or will probably never come off the ban list, those also fit in the category. Summon Skull was in Legend of Blue Eyes? Was it really? I don't remember. I think it might have been in starter deck Yugi's first, but it might be in the first set. How is Mystic Horseman not a Beast Warrior? That's a good question. Why not call it a centaur instead of a horseman? Well, it is a man horse. It is half horse, half man. Bag card. Is Harpy Lady in her vanilla version? Yes, this is the vanilla Harpy Lady. And I think it's usable. You could run Rescue Rabbit in your Harpy deck, but you probably shouldn't. I think it's fair in the filler outclass category. Next up, Rabbit Horseman. Earth attribute, level 6, Beast Warrior, fusion monster. Materials are Battle Ox, Mystic Horseman. I guess this one is half Beast Warrior, half Beast. So it's like 75% Beast. 2,000 attack, 1,700 defense. We're gonna put it in Gimmick, because you could bring it out, not necessarily with instant fusion, but Metamorphosis. It's an okay Metamorphosis target for the time. Could you imagine you get your Malicious out, you activate Metamorphosis, and then you bring out Rabbit Horseman for some reason? Yes, why is Rabbit Horseman a beast warrior? Ooh! Ooh, the vanilla harpy lady is a target for unexpected die. So not just rescue rabbit, but you could also be using unexpected die. And then she still works with elegant egotist. Oh wow. Oh wow. Does that mean that this card is even worth considering today? Are harpies meta? Are harpies explosive enough to be meta? Confirmation that Summon Skull was indeed in Star Deck Yugi, and then reprinted as an ultra rare in Metal Raiders. Oh, but it also came out in 2001 in a giveaway? Was that an actual TCG card? Are the archives really that incomplete? We're actually getting to some of the most interesting cards in Metal Raiders right now. Like this is one of the things that's been on my mind quite a lot recently is like, when are mechanics considered bad? Because in retrospect, cards like Crash Clown and Dream Clown are so bad. They'd never even be on the range of being considered. But this card was pretty good at the time. Like meta even. And I'm wondering, how long does a mechanic have to be considered good for people to remember it as good for the time? I don't know, because a lot of cards are dead on arrival, but I was thinking like Gemini monsters weren't really dead on arrival. There were a few that saw play, even as Gemini monsters, when they were introduced, like Illblood, Doom Shaman, Giga Plant. There were a few, but we think about them now, oh yeah, they're pretty dead on arrival. Anyway, Crass Clown, Dark Attribute, level 4, Fiend, Effect Monster. When this card is changed from defense position to attack position, return one monster on your opponent's side of the field to the owner's hand. So this card is meta. Not just on release, but there was a deck called Clown Control where you just are swapping them back from attack to defense position over and over again. And each turn you're gaining either physical card advantage by popping cards or virtual card advantage by denying your opponent tempo. This is a really slow effect, but it sort of reminds me of like the exhausted state or the tap status in Magic, where every other turn you're getting to do this. Except this is a little better in Crass Clown's case, because then you could still attack after you've changed it to attack position. So this one could still go in for damage. But I think this design space is so beautiful. I love this card because there was not very many ways to have recurring card advantage in the game. It was really cool. I agree. Now there are so many better cards. I think this card was outclassed as soon as Swarm of Scarabs came out. But Ghost Trick Skellington and Subterror Guru are also much better contemporary examples. So, I love Neospatians too, because Jaden's my favorite protagonist. And a super interesting note is that I think every Neospatian outside of Flare Scarab has been meta at one point, which is crazy to me. Because you use Dark Panther to steal effects. Aqua Dolphin was the perfect warrior attack point hand disruption tool at one point. Grand Mole was on the ban list forever because you could just keep you could just keep bouncing things and it didn't target and it didn't destroy. Real good card, especially against extra deck monsters. Dark Panther was for copying effects, and then Air Hummingbird's debatable because it was like a gimmicky OTK deck that you could do with Air Naos, but it wasn't bad. I don't know if there's a use for Flare Scarab though. I think Crest Clown and Dream Clown were actually meta threats though in Clown Control. Oh, I forgot about Glomoss. Oh yeah, Glomoss is bad. Glomoss is really bad. Letting your opponent draw in cards, and then like different effects based on what they draw. What were they thinking about Glomoss? Slash Harpies was pretty strong in Duel Links. Oh, that's good to know. Glomoss is definitely bad. Sad that Elemental Hero Air Naos never got a reprint. Oh, that's bad for collectors. Next up, I guess between the clowns, we have Pump King, the King of Ghosts. Dark Attribute, level 6. Zombie effect. If Castle of Dark Illusions is face up on the field, increase the attack and defense of this card by 100 points. Whoa, slow down there. As long as this Castle of Dark Illusions remains face up on the field, the attack and defense of this card continues to increase by 100 points during each of your standby phases. This effect continues until your 4th turn after this card is activated. 1800 attack, 2000 defense. Why so many restrictions? Why is this card so weird? I don't understand. I mean, it's obviously bad. Is it very bad? It's even very bad because you're only getting 100 attack if and only if you got the Castle of Dark Illusions. Yeah, you're getting, what is it, 300 attack and defense each turn? That's not a lot. That's not a lot. I mean, let's see, 1, 2. It takes 3 turns to just get over your Summon Skull. Very bad. Don't waste your time. But it's a zombie. Oh yeah, it's got that internal synergy. Oh, Bones played those cards, not Panic. I got the names confused. Oh, but wait a second. Did Bandit Keith have? I haven't seen the original anime in so long. I remember there was like Yellow Luster Seal and Catapult Turtle broke the levitation belt and Yugi just cheats. I wish Pumpkin King of the Ghosts was a plant. Imagine the stupid meme decks you could make if you could pull it off with Lone Fire Blossom. Okay. Okay. I don't know what the end goal is. Bring out Pumpkin with Lone Fire Blossom. Pass turn. Refuse to elaborate. Ah, right. Bones played Pumpkin. Panic played Castle. Very similar. Anyway, back to Dream Clown. Earth Attribute, level 3. Warrior Effect Monster. Oh, this is a Rota target. When this card is changed from attack position to defense position, select and destroy one monster on your opponent's side of the field. Hey, it selects and not targets, but this card might have seen an erratum. 1200 attack, 900 defense. This card's meta. This card's really, really quite good for its time. I don't know if we want to differentiate some good on release from the meta, because there wasn't a terribly well documented metagame at the genesis of the game. I mean, I have like official records starting in like 2004, and by that time these cards were completely outclassed, so. the strategy with the Lone Fire into Pumpkin, King of Ghosts, is that your opponent concedes due to the intimidation factor of summoning Pumpkin, because he's spooky. Ooh, and Rhoda was at 3 alongside Dream Clown. That makes sense. Rhoda was at 3 on release, so we don't have Reinforcement of the Army quite yet, but when we do, this card will be searchable, and I think it would be even techable in certain decks. Maybe it's still too slow, though. We're talking really old decks. Next up, Tainted Wisdom. Dark Attribute, level 3. When this card is changed from attack position to defense position, shuffle your own deck. 1250 attack, 800 defense. But why? Why would you want this? Most cards that shuffle, or most cards that search, will shuffle the deck automatically on their own. And like, there's a card called Card Shuffle, which you can shuffle your deck or your opponent's deck for 300 life points, and that card's still not good. Like, even as a skill card, that wouldn't be a good card, but I just don't understand. Oh, but wait. There are big brain moves with Tainted Wisdom. Ah, I'm missing it. Card's a bit of a meme, though. You thought that was the big brain? Wait for Ancient Brain. Dark Attribute, level 3. Fiend, normal. A fallen fairy that is powerful in the dark. 1000 attack, 700 defense. Bigger brain. We'll put it in the normal tier at least. It's not good. Oh, wait. This is a tour guide target. Does that make it slightly better? I don't know. If you run Tour Guy and Unexpected Die together, maybe? Okay. Tainted Wisdom is meta, since you can shuffle your deck when your opponent uses Gravelure, so that Gravelure isn't the top card on your deck. We'll get to Gravelure. Gravelure is coming up soon. I don't think it's this stream or the next stream, but that card, I don't understand. If you use Perfume on each of your cards to know which one is which, you can shuffle your deck in order to get a better chance of drawing the right cards. If you're My Valentine and you're cheating, maybe Tainted Wisdom is okay? Changes battle position. Shuffles deck. Refuses to elaborate. I would like to imagine that Tainted Wisdom comes from this guy. Actually, I think Tainted Wisdom and Ancient Brains fusion together to make Skull Knight, I think is what it is. I might be confused. There's a lot of fusion monsters. 3 Ancient Brains with 3 poly. Then we'd make like Super Ancient Brain. Ah, Tainted Wisdom isn't an actual monster. It's just what's going on inside the brain of Ancient Brain. I don't know. I love Tainted Wisdom's artwork. If this was an artwork tier list, it'd be all the way up at S. But we're not there yet. Need to do a lore tier list and an artwork tier list. We're just going to go through every card over and over again. Next up, Guardian of the Labyrinth. Earth Attribute, level 4, warrior monster. Another tour guide target. A monster that guards the entrance to the netherworld. 1000 attack, 1200 defense. By the way, look at that shield. Doesn't it look like the mouth from the Cursed Sword Ragnarok from Soul Eater? I mean, that's what it immediately reminds me of. I love this card's artwork too. I mean, it's a normal monster, and it's not a good one, but points for artwork being so cool. He gets a Link retrain? Oh, maybe he will be good. The inner machinations of tainted wisdom's mind are an enigma. I agree. Skull Knight gave me nightmares. Oh no, that card must be too strong. It's Sauron's mouth. We see Sauron's eye, not Sauron's mouth. The mouth of that monster panic summoned. I can see that. Next up, Prevent Rat. Prevent Rat? It sort of sounds like a verb. Prevent Rat. Like, it's an exterminator that's already gotten rid of your existing rats, and now he wants to prevent rats. It's an Earth attribute, level 4, Beast. This creature is shielded with a tough hide of hair and is excellent at defending itself. 500 attack, 2000 defense. I think we're going to put it in filler because we have Giant Soldier of Stone, which is just better. There might be some use of it being a beast-type monster, but I can't think of any immediately. Oh no, the Link retrain of Guardian of the Labyrinth is also bad? Oh no, that's going to be heartbreaking in 10 years when I get to that set. Next, Little Swordsman of Isle. And the pronunciation's a little weird because it's supposed to be like Isle, I-L-S-E, not A-I-L-S-E. So I think that's the correct pronunciation. Isle is an island. Water attribute, level 3, warrior effect. Offer one monster on your side of the field as a tribute to increase this monster's attack by 700 points until the end phase of the turn. 800 attack, 1300 defense. I believe this is phrased so that it's not a cost, that both happen simultaneously, if that means anything to anyone. And this card gets up to 1500 attack, or maybe it could get up to 2200 attack if you got two monsters. That just is not good. We'll put it in bad. Prevent Rat was a common, making it more accessible, but if you had no viable niche otherwise to my knowledge. But it had no other viable niche to my knowledge. That makes sense. I summoned the Summoned Skull. Yeah, some of the names are goofy. I don't know what is Summoned Skull's name in Japanese? I know it's an Archfiend. Is it just demon? Like no other words? Yes, offer. Next up, Princess of Tsurugi. Wind attribute, level 3. It's Archfiend's skull in Japanese. Oh. Warrior, effect monster. Flip. It hasn't had the warrior flip effect ability on the ability line yet. Inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent's life points for each spell and trap card on your opponent's side of the field. 900 attack, 700 defense. So, I'm thinking that this card is just filler outclassed. It's like an early version of Secret Barrel, but right now we have Just Desserts, and Just Desserts is probably going to be better most of the time. Lower ceiling, but potentially easier to activate if there's more back row running around. Okay, if it's not once per turn, does that mean you can get Guardian of the Isle to infinite attack points? If you can infinitely summon monsters, there's probably something better you can be doing. Ooh, is Princess of Tsurugi all the way up to staple and burn decks? I think we can put it in good on release, at least. Maybe higher than filler. Next up, Protector of the Throne. Earth attribute, level 4, warrior. A lot of warriors in this set. While the king is away, this queen protects his throne with a mighty defense. a mighty defense of 1500 points. Enter an attack, and as I mentioned, 1500. Cool little orb thing. I like this artwork a lot. Not particularly useful though. I think it's the other half of a fusion monster. Next up, Tremendous Fire. So this card is, again, I'm using the TCG artwork both times. Normal spell, inflict 1000 points of damage to your opponent's life points and 500 points of damage to your own life points. This card is staple in a lot of early burn decks because it's just the most efficient burn damage card you have at the time. This card isn't a direct power creep over Final Flame, like Final Flame is to Hinotama and Sparks, but it's the most efficient burn card you have access to right now. Yeah, why use Isle when you could just be tributing the monsters for Cannon Soldier? There's much better use for infinitely summoning monsters. Next, I actually really like this card. So, Jirai Gumo. Earth, attribute level 4, insect effect. When this card declares an attack, toss a coin and call it. If you call it wrong, lose half your life points. 2200 attack, 100 defense. So, I don't know if it goes all the way up to meta, as people have suggested. It has been played quite a bit. It's either good on release or meta. It's very, very good. I admit it is very good. So this card is deceptively good. So you normal summon it, and it's got 2200 attack. So your opponent can't attack over it. Or at least without summoning a big monster like the Summoned Skull. Which is really strong on its own. And note that if you call the coin toss wrong, you still get the attack. So the attack always goes through, so you can consistently attack, and if you're lucky, you don't get punished for it. I really like the design of Jirai Gumo, and if you hadn't known, Jirai Gumo is a 2200 defender that sits in attack mode. I think that's a pretty good summation. But if you've ever wondered about that effect, which halves your life points, it's a little bit weird. It's because the Japanese name for this translates to landmine spider. So, 50-50 chance you set off the landmine, and it takes half your life points. Ooh, you could use it for skill drain. But if you're playing skill drain, which is in a much later set, I think you have access to stronger cards. You're not playing Giant Kozaki, that's going too far, but you got like Armor X? Well, you got Beast King Barbaros. I'm not sure what the best cards under skill drain are. Silky Robo Sin with the superior strategy. You just gotta call it right, Forehead. It's that easy. I don't know why I never think of this. Next up, Shadow Ghoul. Dark attribute, level 5. Zombie effect monster. This card gains 100 attack for each monster in your graveyard. 1600 attack, 1300 defense. So at what point is this better than Summoned Skull when you have 9 monsters in graveyard? How are you going to get 9 monsters in graveyard? I guess you got 3 card destructions, and card destruction, card destruction, card destruction. Get out Shadow Ghoul? Monster Reborn, my Shadow Ghoul. It's not worth the effort. Theoretically, this card could have been good. Why are you keep typing 6s in the moth? Oh, I know why. I've tried so hard to make Shadow Ghoul work. Even in limited draft formats, it just takes so long to get online. But the ghoul is a beast. I'm not sure it ever was good. It's cool looking. It is really cool looking. I love that art. Wall Shadow is also cool, but not good. Next up, Labyrinth Tank. Dark attribute. Level 7. Machine Fusion Monster. Gigatech Wolf plus Cannon Soldier as material. 2400 attack and 2400 defense. Pretty convenient. I think we're keeping it in gimmick tier. Shadow Ghoul is in Infernoid / Lair. Wait, you play Shadow Ghoul in Infernoid or Lair decks? No way. That can't be right. I understand what you're saying. You use Future Fusion, you get a whole bunch of Infernoids engraved for the Infernoid Dream, or maybe you mill a whole bunch with Reasoning, and then you get out the Shadow Ghoul, and it's still not great. It's just a worse Red Eye Zombie Sync. I can agree with that. Next, Bikuri Box. Dark attribute. Level 7 again. Fiend Fusion Monster. Materials are Crest Clown and Dream Clown. 2300 attack, 2000 defense. So I read somewhere that in the manga, this wasn't originally a fusion monster, and it was changed, and they were just picking random materials, and they happened upon the 2 clowns that were in the set. But it looks like it'd be true. Silky Robos. Labyrinth Tank was my first card, I think. I was given a few cards by my uncle when we were both kids and made my mom so mad, Lamau. I'm glad it was your first card. Everyone's first card is special. I don't remember what mine was. First card I remember seeing, Skull Servant. But first card I remember owning? That one's harder. I know at one point I had a Japanese Mirage Knight. I have no idea how I got it, but that was cool. Oh, and a quick side note, Bikuri Box, in the manga at least, was a Toon monster, and we'll get to Toons soon. Toons are in Spell Ruler, I think. Wow, this is a big set. Next up, Gilta the D Knight. Light attribute, level 5. Warrior Fusion Monster. Materials are Guardian of the Labyrinth, Protector of the Throne. 1850 attack, 1500 defense. I don't know if it goes in gimmick or if it goes all the way on to worth considering today. Because it's not bad. It's a good instant fusion card. It's decent. Light warrior, so it has some utility there. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to keep it in gimmick for now, though. Next up, Launcher Spider. I have no idea where the alternate artwork came from. Fire attribute. Level 7 again. Machine, normal monster. A mechanical spider with rocket launchers capable of random fire. Oh yay, random fire. 2200 attack, 2500 defense. Not good. Real not good. I honestly think that Shadow Ghoul's better. In fact, Shadow Ghoul can be pretty high up because at least that does something. Is Gilta the D Knight really the best level 5 metamorphosis target they had at the time? I don't know if that's enough. It might still go into gimmick though. I don't know. Ooh. I guess we'll put it in meta at one point just for now. Ooh. One of the synergies with Gilta the D Knight is you could take your opponent's Air Knight Parshath, then activate Metamorphosis to get out your Gilta the D Knight. Oh, that might be relevant Is Metamorphosis allowed in GOAT? I think it is. A lot of ban lists, and sometimes I get them confused. Ooh, and it's a light attribute for Chaos decks with Chaos Sorcerer, Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. Okay, I can see a very good argument for Gilta the D-Knight being meta at one point. Yes, and Metamorphosis is at 3 in GOAT. Okay. Next up, Gigatuk Wolf. Fire attribute, level 4, Machine. An iron wolf with razor-sharp fangs that can penetrate any armor. 1200 attack, 1400 defense. Straight into normal tier. Next up, Thunder Dragon. Light attribute, level 5. Thunder effect. You can discard one card, add up to 2 Thunder Dragons from your deck to your hand. 1600 attack, 1500 defense. If you're playing Thunder Dragons, you probably want to play Thunder Dragon, right? Thunder Dragon's a really strong card from a card advantage. It's just so good. Oh no. The redacted 7-colored fish has breached containment. We're finally to 7-colored fish. I guess Lajin has met his rival. I think no one needs to... I think everyone gets why Thunder Dragon is still a really good card. 7-colored fish. Ooh. It is water attribute, level 4, fish. A rare rainbow fish that has never been caught by mortal man. I only count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess they count the white of the teeth. Debatably 7 colors. Do not count the colors. Don't point it out. Okay. I'm gonna say it's all the way up at GOAT on release. I think that's fair. I agree. Thunder Dragon has a whole archetype, but even just discarding 1 card to get 2 cards is great. Next up, the Immortal of Thunder. Light attribute, level 4, Thunder, flip effect. Flip. Increase your life points by 3,000 points. Yay! When this card is sent to the graveyard, you lose 5,000 life points. Not yay. 1,500 attack, 1,300 defense. So, if you're cheeky, then you can try to bounce it to your hand. But you probably shouldn't be doing that. I think it's just a bad card. The rare rainbow fish was printed at common. Oh yeah, should have put rainbow fish as the secret rare for the set. It's even better than Gate Guardian, of course. Next up, Punished Eagle. Wind attribute, level 6. Winged Beast fusion. Materials are Blue Winged Crow and Niwatori. 2,100 attack, 1,800 defense. I'm gonna just put it in gimmick for now. I guess if you wanted a wind for your Dark Simorgh with Metamorphosis, I can't see it being useful. Next up, Insect Soldiers of the Sky. Wind attribute, level 3, insect effect. The attack of this card increases by 1,000 points whenever it attacks a wind monster. 1,000 attack, 800 defense. This is really interesting. I like the design of this card. I think specifically in your side deck, this one might be decent on release, but what wind monsters are you facing? I think you'd have to have... I don't know what it's in your side deck currently at this point, but it's probably not good. I guess Fake Traps in your side deck, maybe? White Magical Hat, Mass Sorcerers in your side deck? I'm not even sure your main deck's full of good cards at this point. Oh yeah. These old fusions are so bad. Imagine using 3 specific cards to make a big guy just to die to Jirai Gumo or Summon Skull. Or it dies to Fissur, which might hurt even worse. Next up, Hoshiningen, which, as I read, was Hoshiningen as a kid. Light attribute, level 2, fairy, effect. All light monsters on the field gain 500 attack. Also, all dark monsters on the field lose 400 attack. 500 attack, 700 defense. This is a full attribute cycle of attack boosters. They're not particularly good. Theoretically, you could make an attribute-based deck, but at this point, your decks are just like good cards and not really. Oh yeah, the whole cycle of these cards got retrains, and it was like Mistar Boy and Mrs. Radiant, and I can't remember all the other names, but the retrains are great. But this guy does give you like 15 seconds of invincibility when you collect him. It's a good joke, Silky Robes. Insect imitation into insect soldiers of the sky. Ooh. Insect imitation isn't out quite yet, but I guess the card's searchable? Okay, so Hip Hoshiningen is the retrain. Next up, Musician King. Light attribute, level 5. Spellcaster Fusion. Materials are Witch of the Black Forest, and Lady of Faith. 1750 attack, 1500 defense. This guy's actually a little hard to bring out. We're going to put him in Gimmick tier. I guess he's not as good as Gilted the D-Knight. But if you use Metal Morph on him, then you get Heavy Musician King. No, you get Heavy Metal Musician King. Heavy Metal King? Now I can't remember the name of the anime card. If you use Metal Morph on him, you get Heavy King. That's still not right. We'll cut that out in post. Ooh, and now we're getting to the really juicy cards. Yado Karu. Just look at the artwork. This guy's got to do something amazing. He just looks so cool. We have Water Attribute, level 4, Aqua Effect Monster. When this card is changed from attack position to defense position, oh, those cards are good. You can place any number of cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck in any order you desire. Oh. I think this card is so bad. It's worse than Tainted Wisdom. It is one of the worst cards in the game. And, like, I think this card might be the worst card in terms of card advantage that you can possibly have, because theoretically you could have 59 cards in hand and put them all back into your deck. I don't think it's good with Slash Draw. I think there are so much better options than... Oh, wait a second. Yadokaru is a design mistake. It actually had a major errata, since it used to work when changed from defense to attack position, which makes more sense. Oh, and it says at the bottom, not even on the bottom. Could you use it in Infernity decks? Oh, you put it at 4 copies in an Assault Mode deck. This is Assault Mode. They have like what is the name of it? Assault Mode Teleport. There's a specific card that puts Assault Modes back into your deck, and then you get to draw a card, which is so much better. But you're probably better off using Magical Mallet, and this card is just so bad. It's mind-boggling. Play this card with Exchange and just steal your opponent's cards. Summon Yadakaru. Refuse to elaborate. I think this is a contender for the worst card in the game, which is just amazing. Wiki picture of Cybersaurus is a little not perfect, but Earth attribute level 5 machine fusion monster. Materials are Blast Juggler, Two-Headed King Rex. Important note, this card is not treated as a cyber card. The Japanese name for this is Mechasaurus, which makes sense, so it's not part of the cyber archetype. I don't know if you could do anything with that. I think like the Cyber Dragon Nova requires light level 5 cyber dragons, so I don't know if this errata is even relevant, but it's interesting to note. 1800 attack, 1400 defense. I think right now you're better off using Panzer Dragon with the instant fusion, but it was an option. And I remember playing around with Cybersaurus in fun gimmicky decks. Ooh, put Yatakaru in Moth's territory. I don't know. Is that disrespectful to the Moth? Okay. Oh, wait a second. What if you summon Yatakaru, then play Convulsion of Nature? Then your deck's face down, so you can actually put the cards at the top of your deck? Is that useful? Ooh, Nova can take level 5 machines. So you can be using Cybersaurus, but I think Panzer Dragon's still better. There's no cyber archetype. Zero card that actually names cyber cards. Oh, that's weird. I don't understand this errata. Maybe it's to preserve design space in the future? You use them in Ancient Gears. I guess it is a machine. A hose nozzle? What? I think he stays in Gimmick. Next up, Cannon Soldier. Dark attribute, level 4, machine, effect. You contribute 1 monster, inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent. 1400 attack, 1300 defense. So, OCG, this card, I think is banned. I don't think it's banned in the TCG yet. It is easily design mistake. Cannon Soldier, Geeky Gerald puts it pretty well. Ruined entire formats tier. I agree. Cannon Soldier is not good for the game. Squid, what a nice monster. I sure hope he doesn't do anything degenerate. Oh no, Cannon Soldier can do no harm. You're just gonna, use them and pop them. I actually think that this card is actually obsolete though. Because you can use Toon Cannon Soldier, and like Toon Cannon Soldier can be searched with Toon Table of Contents, so. Jorge Hernandez says, you lose monsters, so it's bad, Lamau. And Kitsune Rasu. 3 years of FTK tier. That's a good way of summoning it up. It is easily a design mistake. I don't think anyone saw it coming as a design mistake though, because it's so simple. And I think the change is also so simple. Say once per turn, hard once per turn. Next up, Muka Muka. Earth attribute, level 2, rock, effect. This card gains 300 attack and defense for each card in your hand. 600 attack, 300 defense. So, let's say you have 5 cards in hand, then you're getting 1500 attack That's a 2100 attack level 2 monster that you can normal summon. That's really decent for the time. If you have the maximum of 6 cards in hand, then it's 2400 attack. That's pretty close to the summoned skull. And even if you're down to like 4 cards, I think you're still at 1800 attack, and that's 7 colored fish. I say put him pretty high. I'd say good on release. I think that's fair. But not Hoseining. Muka Muka is the original Slifer. Either that or Slifer Jr. Put Muka Muka in gimmick tier. I think it's good on release. I think that's fair. Oh, and that artwork. I don't know. It's a weird bug. Why has the bug got smoke snacks on it? I do love the retrains of Enraged Muka Muka, Noble Maneater Bug, and like Hane, I think are the retrains that come in the same set. I just love them, the way that they reference the older ones. Ooh, but you could bring Muka Muka out with Giant Rat? Oh, that sounds pretty good, actually. Put Muka Muka in your rat toolbox. I think that might even be meta. Muka Muka, the executive producer. Not sure everyone's gonna get that, but Slifer, the Sky Dragon, the English name was changed to reflect the management at 4Kids, referencing their executive producer, because in Japan, Slifer's name is Osiris, and it got changed. Oh. Pro tip, use Yado Karu to make your Muka Muka smaller. so it can get under Messenger of Peace or something? I don't know. Next up, the Bistro Butcher. Dark Attribute, level 4, Fiend, Effect Monster. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, your opponent draws 2 cards from their deck. 1800 attack, 1000 defense. So, you might be looking at this and thinking that this is in the very bad tier, and you're not wrong. Your opponent drawing 2 cards each time this card attacks, or is it attacks or battles? Each time this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, that's not good. It's so not good that you actually use it in gimmick decks, where you keep ramming like rats and Mass Dragon and Dread Dragon and all sorts of other things into it after giving it to your opponent so that you keep drawing cards. Pro tip, counter your opponent's Bistro Butcher by putting the cards back with Yado Karu. Oh wow, we are seriously hitting some tainted wisdom tonight. There are funny Bistro Butcher OTK decks, though. I think those crash into your opponent's monster decks might be a little bit better when you get Witch Doctor of Sparta later, because that one will do damage each time you crash, but I think it's funny. I think it's silly. Also, I remember having this card as a kid too. Not in English. I had the French version, and it was like, Le Bistro de la Bouchère. I remember that. Next up, Starboy. Water, level 2, Aqua, Effect Monster. As long as this card remains face up on the field, increase the attack of all water monsters by 500 points, and decrease the attack of all fire monsters by 400 points. 550 attack, 500 defense. I think these actually have slightly different stat lineups for each attribute, but it can go next to the other star. By the way, I don't know if this is intentional, but does this guy remind you of Starro the Conqueror from like the DC universe? Why does he need a knife if he's got the hook? That's a good question, Squid. This is Wet Hoshinigan. Starboy is obsolete because if it's raining outside, you get the same boost. Man, field advantages are weird. I don't know why Hoshinigan isn't like further down. I don't know who designed the set as far as how the cards are ordered. Next up, Milus Radiant. Earth attribute, level 1 this time. Beast effect monster. As long as this card remains face up on the field, increase the attack of all earth monsters by 500 points and decrease the attack of all wind monsters by 400 points. 300 attack, 250 defense. 1-for-1 target, I guess. Okay. I think Starboy can actually work in water decks, especially being a low-level aqua monster. Bad Wrong Fun says that, and I guess with wetlands, maybe? Wretched creature. I don't know what you're referring to, Squid, but delightful. Okay, we can put Starboy slightly higher than the others because there is a niche with wetlands. I don't think it's a particularly good one, but I guess you could play it. Maybe we even filler outclassed, maybe? Ooh, do you put Milus Radiant in your Panda OTK decks during GOAT? I don't know. Do you get enough attack points for that? Is it worth the boost? Okay. If that's the case, maybe we put it all the way up to... Is it meta? Or filler outclassed? I guess these go out of bad, at the very least. It's not a good card, but there was technically a use for it. I guess we'll put it here. Next up, Niwatori. Earth attribute, level 3, Winged Beast. Swallows enemies whole and uses their essence as energy. 900 attack, 800 defense. And it's a fusion material. Put it in normal tier. Ooh, I skipped Flame Cerberus, didn't I? Either that or the cards are slightly out of order. Get some water. I think the cards were slightly out of order. Terrible vanilla, but I kind of have a soft spot for the Cerebus. I think that's fair. So Flame Cerebus, Fire Attribute, level 6. One second. Okay. Hey, I'm still streaming. I'm still on the stream. I'm almost done. I love you, bye. Ooh, real world things. Flame Cerebus is basically a proto-Hazy Flame with the level and stat line. Ooh, is it even useful in Hazy Flames? Aren't Hazy Flames like level 5 though? My first card ever was Elemental Hero Wildheart. That's a good first card. That card was meta. Anyway, back to Flame Cerberus. Fire attribute, level 6, Pyro. Known to many as the Burning Executioner, this monster is capable of burning enemies to cinders. 2100 attack, 1800 defense. I think we put him in the bad category. Did they actually misspell Cerberus? Cerebrus. Cerebrus. I guess they did misspell Cerebus. Have they ever... Do they change cards based on like spelling errors? Flame Cerberus gets meta tier because it's the only one like 4 pyro monsters to be used for Royal Firestorm guards. Said to be read sarcastically. Oh. Next up, Dark Elf. Dark attribute, level 4, spellcaster, effect. This card requires a cost of 1,000 of your life points. The wording's real awkward. This card requires a cost of 1,000 of your own life points to activate. 2,000 attack, 800 defense. And I actually think that this card is good for its time. I'd play it over Time Wizard probably. I think it sounds bad, but you can play it. It's a little bit more reliable than Jiragumo as far as life point cost, but I think it's worth it. Ooh, it's historically meta because of how over-centralizing Mechanical Chaser was. I think that's fair. Mechanical Chaser comes out in Tournament Pack 1, which is the next one, which we probably won't have time for tonight, but I'll get to it soon. A 2k attacker that burned your opponent. How do you use your opponent's life points to pay a cost? That's an interesting one. Oh, are Dark Elf's stats the reverse of... They are. The Dark Elf does have the reverse stats of Mystic Elf, where Mystic Elf has 800 attack and 2000 defense. Oh, that's brilliant. Next up, Mushroom Man number 2. Earth attribute, level 3, warrior effect monster. A player controlling this monster loses 300 life points during each of his or her standby phases when this card is face up on the field. Control of this card is shifted to your opponent by paying 500 life points at your own end phase. 1250 attack, 800 defense. This card actually has not bad stats, but like, you summon this, you give it to your opponent during the end phase, they lose 300 life points, and then use it for a link summon, or they start their combo. This card is so bad, you don't want to be giving your opponent cards. Theoretically, it was useful at one point, but no. I unironically missed the number 2 monsters. Really wish they would bring back that naming scheme. I don't like it. I don't like it a lot. It's just confusing. I don't like him. Why is he a warrior, though? Because he's got those strong arms. He's going to be punching people. Pay 500 life points to burn for 300. Sounds like a good trade offer. This is a warrior who cosplays as a mushroom. It's the worst version of Lava Golem. Summons Mushroom Man number 2 and doesn't elaborate. Don't even give it to the opponent. Just flex with it. It won a game in a MBT subathon. Once in its history, it had a use. He is built different. He's not a plant. He's a fun guy. It's getting late. Next up, Lava Battle Guard. Earth attribute, level 5, warrior effect monster. This card gains 500 attack for each swamp battle guard you control. 1550 attack, 1800 defense. I think those are reverse of Lava Battle Guard. Still bad. Is it very bad? Or is it just bad? We put swamp up here, so I'm just going to say it's bad. Pay 500 to burn yourself for 300 and give your opponent free summon for their summon skull. Free tribute material for the summon skull. Wait, so you can just play hot potato with Mushroom Man number 2 and just pass it to your opponent over and over again? Theoretically, yeah. Oh, hey, the worst tribute effect monster. I don't know about that. There are some real bad cards. Next up, Witch of the Black Forest. Dark attribute, level 4, spellcaster, effect. I'm reading the modern version of the effect, by the way. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add one monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. But you cannot activate cards or the effect of cards with that name for the rest of the turn. You can only use this effect of Witch of the Black Forest once per turn. 1100 attack, 1200 defense. It's so sad. I'm not sure if it could have gotten off the ban list with a hard once per turn. It has a really wide search pool, but it's just dead now. That is true. You got to get both battle guards out for them to do anything, and that's pretty bad. I think Sangan became more iconic just because it wasn't banned for the longest time. You could run one Sangan, but which has been banned forever. Summon 4 Numeron, tribute summon Lava Column. Where's Lajin? Lajin's a reprint. We covered it in Star Deck Kaiba. Ooh, you can search Dark Arm Dragon with Witch. That would have been real strong. Next up, Little Chimera. Fire attribute, level 2, beast effect. All fire monsters on the field gain 500 attack. All water monsters on the field lose 400 attack. It's got 600 attack, 550 defense points. Put it next to Hoshiningen. It's not particularly good. It's weird it's beast. Afterwards, we have Bladefly, wind attribute, level 2, insect effect. As long as this card remains face up on the field, increase the attack of all wind monsters by 500 points and decrease the attack of all earth monsters by 400 points. 600 attack, 700 defense. It's weird that these don't all have the same stat lineup. You'd think that some of these are just stronger for some reason. Is Sangan just better because of Tour Guide? I don't know. Sangan, I think Witch is sort of the better card. It's hard. If your house is on fire, you can gain an extra 500 attack. Someone said thick fly on Bladefly? What? Bumblebees are thick? You see a fly and grab the newspaper to swat it, and it pulls out a freaking saber. Bladefly does have good art. which could definitely search for a lot of fun stuff. Next up, Lady of Faith. I think this is related to Doriato, but I'm not sure. Light attribute, level 3, Spellcaster. Soothes the souls of others by chanting a mysterious spell. 1100 attack, 800 defense. Put them in normal tier. I actually really like this card. I don't know if you'd ever use it for anything, but Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon is so cool to me. It's a light attribute, level 7, Thunder Fusion Monster. Materials are Thunder Dragon plus Thunder Dragon, 2800 attack and 2100 defense. I think this is really cool design because like you discard a Thunder Dragon, you add 2 Thunder Dragons, so you only go -1 to fusion summon it, which is really cool design. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know if you'd play it like that, but it's definitely good on release, at least. Twin is cool because the materials, yeah, the materials search themselves. Tier 0 and Forbidden Memories. I don't know about Forbidden Memories. It's definitely iconic fusion though. Ooh, with Fusion Gate, it's not even a -1. That is a good use for Thunder Dragon. I don't know what deck uses Fusion Gate and Thunder Dragons though. Maybe your E-Heroes? Witch's Apprentice. Dark Attribute, level 2, Spellcaster effect. You know the rigmarole. As long as this card remains face up on the field, increase the attack of all dark monsters by 500 points and decrease the attack of all light monsters by 400 points. 550 attack, 500 defense. I don't understand why they're not the same. Is the artwork literally recycled from Twinmouth Dark Ruler? I know they're very similar, but is it just like a recolor? Ooh, you actually play Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon in the modern Thunder Dragons? Ooh. Ooh. I guess we put it next to Thunder Dragon. That is recycled artwork. That's so funny. Next up, Blue Winged Crow, Wind Attribute, level 4, Winged Beast, with hair shaped like a crown and a body encased in bluish-white flames. This bird is a formidable sight. 1600 attack, 1200 defense. Yeah, we'll put him in normal tier. Normal tier are getting pretty full. Next up, Skull Knight. Dark Attribute, level 7, seems like a trend. Spellcaster Fusion, Tainted Wisdom, and Ancient Brain. I understand why this gave people nightmares. Really cool looking card. 2650 attack, 2250 defense. I don't know if it goes in gimmick or meta. I think we'll put it up in meta. I think that's fair. Because I've definitely seen this card in fusion decks for Metamorphosis. It's weird because some of the recolors are just recolors, and some of them are totally new art that's just similar. I agree. It's a lot of the early cards used to have like a twin or a complement. Like Skull Servant had the Wandering Doomed, I think is the name, and a lot of cards had the 1 and the 2. Witch's Apprentice will sweep away the competition. Weird stat lines out of 10. Next up, Gazelle, the King of Mythical Beasts. Earth attribute, level 4, Beast. This monster moves so fast that it looks like an illusion to mortal eyes. Please note, this card is always treated as a Phantom Beast card. 1500 attack, 1200 defense. I'm gonna put in normal monsters, but like decently high in normal monsters, because you might be able to use Unexpected Die in your Phantom Beast deck, or maybe Rabbit target. That might be stretching it. Ah, yes, Karibo and Wretched Beast from the Attic are also good examples of complement ones. Wait, do the Mecha Phantom Beast cards support the Phantom Beast cards? Is that right? Next up, Garnecia Elephantis. Earth attribute, level 7, Beast Warrior. A monster so heavy that each step rocks the earth. 2400 attack, 2000 defense. If this were level 6, it wouldn't be so bad, but it's pretty bad right now. Top tier art though. Next up, Barrel Dragon. So Barrel Dragon is actually a pretty cool card. I got the OCG artwork for the graphic. Dark attribute, level 7. A lot of level 7s. They love the number 7. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, toss a coin 3 times, and destroy it if at least 2 of the results are heads. 2600 attack, 2200 defense. So this is fusion material for Gatling Dragon, and there is an actual deck that used Overload Fusion to bring out Gatling Dragon. As a backup plan, it also had Chimeratech Overdragon and Cyberstein, and it was dominant meta. Next up, Solemn Judgment. No, not a normal trap, counter trap. By the way, this set is the first to introduce counter traps, so no counter traps up until this point. When a monster would be summoned or a spell or trap is activated, pay half your life points, negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card. I don't know, all the way up at meta at one point? All the way up to worth considering today? I don't know if it's weird. Okay, so the OCG name for Barrel Dragon is Gun Cannon Shot, which is weird. Solemn Judgment might as well just say no. Yeah, I think Solemn Judgment all the way up to worth considering. Negate. Isn't Solemn Judgment the power of God? I think so. It's got angels with halos. Gotta remove those halos. Okay. Next up, Magic Jammer. And we'll actually come back to Magic Jammer next time. I don't think we'll have time for it tonight, but I want to explain what I think the OCG art means, because it is a very interesting story. But what does Magic Jammer do? Counter trap. When a spell card is activated, discard one card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. I mean, Magic Jammer's not bad. I don't know if it goes to meta or just good on release, because there are better counter traps. There are even better counter traps in this set, but it's not bad. Welcome to the jam. You guys are great. Next up, 7 Tools of the Bandit. Counter trap. When a trap card is activated, pay 1000 life points. Negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. This card's also real good. Like, I'm thinking it might even climb into low tier meta, because this is just better than Magic Jammer since it doesn't have the discard. Okay. Next up, ooh, we got a gold card. We got Horn of Heaven. Ooh, did we not get? Okay. We are one behind on the graphic. Okay, Horn of Heaven. Another counter trap. When a monsters would be summoned, tribute one monster, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monsters. I think this card is good. I don't know if it got all the way to meta, but it's situationally really good. I think we'll put it in low meta. I know it's a 2-for-1. I know it takes a monster on board, but there's still some functionality in it, and I think that's worth considering, at least in slower formats. It's pretty much outclassed by Black Horn of Heaven later, though. Ooh, confused why they played 7 tools over Dark Bribe. Because life points don't mean anything, and cards mean everything. Tribute Ben 10. Okay, why not tribute a hieratic? Now all of China knows you're here. It's mid-top tier. Okay. Next up, Sword and Shield. Normal spell. By the way, the Japanese is just sword and shield in the artwork. Switch the original attack and defense of all face-up monsters currently on the field until the end of this turn. I'm just going to say filler outclassed. It's not a bad effect. It's just not likely to be useful. Seven tools got used even as recently as 2016 and 2018 at the YCS and Nationals in specific decks. Yeah, 7 tools is good. Next up, Sword of the Deep-Seated. Really cool artwork. The equipped monster gains 500 attack and defense. If this card is sent to your graveyard, place it on top of the deck. Ooh, that's mandatory. That's mandatory. This card can be real bad because it'll just stop you from drawing. And like, if you discard, if this card gets sent from the hand, it still triggers. This is bad Butterfly Dagger Alma, like really bad Butterfly Dagger Alma. Sword of the Deep-Seated is used in FTKs? Oh, that might be right. We could put it in gimmick potential. I mean, it's purple. It fits the theme. It does avoid getting decked out, but there are better cards. Like, I think Cockroach Knight coming up in the next tournament pack. I think that one's a better option. Next up, Block Attack. We had Stop Defense. Now we have Block Attack. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Change that target to face-up defense position. I'll just keep it in filler outclassed, I think. Sword of the Deep-Seated was good until the dog power crept it. I think Cockroach Knight power crept it. It's part of the Dark Warrior combo. Oh yeah, it is. You could bring it out with the sold and then it will recycle itself. Okay, there's a very good reason why you use Sword of the Deep-Seated. Okay, we'll keep it in gimmick. I think we'll keep it in gimmick. It's a silly use, but it's useful. Next is the Unhappy Maiden. Light attribute, level 1, spellcaster effect monster. When this card is sent to the graveyard as a result of battle, the battle phase of that turn ends immediately. 0 attack, 100 defense. Theoretically it's useful, but in practice it's just very bad. I used block attack to kill boss monsters before I had monster removal. Of course. We're going to speed through the last few. Robin Goblin, continuous trap. Each time a monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent discards 1 random card. So this card actually saw meta play, just because you could get rid of your opponent's cards. It's not bad. It's really not bad, because it doesn't exhaust itself, so you could do it repeatedly. Followed by Germ Infection, equip spell. The attack of a non-machine type monster equipped with this card is decreased by 300 points at each of its standby phases. Woo! Immunity from machine monsters. Great flavor. This is a cold. Takes forever for it to do anything. I think it's very bad. Unhappy Maiden is iconic. I love this card, especially the art, but it's obviously bad. I don't think it was even meta for the time. There's much better options. In line with Paralyzing Potion, in line with Germ Infection, we have Paralyzing Potion, another effect card. Also, a non-machine monster equipped with this card cannot attack. So simple, so nice. It's soft removal. Is soft removal worth anything right now? I don't know. Maybe a little bit. Next up, Mirror Force. Oh, this is a super iconic card. I don't think it's probably worth considering today, but it was definitely meta, like real high meta. Normal Trap. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters. Very simple effect, very strong. Infinite Mirror Force. Next up, Ring of Magnetism. Love this card's design. Equip spell. You can only equip this card to a monster on your side of the field. Decrease the attack and defense of a monster equipped with this card by 500 points. In addition, all monsters on your opponent's side of the field can only attack the monster equipped with this card, if they attack. Theoretically, this card could be useful. You could put it, well, I don't think you could put it on your Spirit Reaper, but you could put it on something and make a lightning rod, but not really good enough. I like the idea. I like the idea a lot. I agree. All the Mirror Force retrains are better. Like Drowning Mirror Force, Quaking Mirror Force. Share the Pain, OG Kaiju. I don't know if it's worth considering today, but I love the design of the card. This is a normal spell. Tribute 1 monster. Make your opponent tribute 1 monster for no effect. Unclear, but I think this gets around a few different monster effects that would trigger when the monster leaves the field. I don't think it's bad. I think filler outclass is pretty much where it fits because you got better removal options, but it's interesting. I'm glad the Share the Pain video got you to the channel. I really think the card is so interesting. I love the design. I love thinking about what you can do with it. It's really useful. You can put in Spirit Reaper. Spirit Reaper explodes. Yeah. Stimpack is another card that I put in the cards to consider trailer, and it's specifically because I really like the design of the card. And to briefly reference Magic again, where do we have it? This is Unstable Mutation, which is a 1 blue enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 at the beginning of your upkeep. Of the enchanted creature's controller puts a -1/-1 counter on that creature. And if you don't know, Unstable Mutation was actually pretty good in Magic, so Stimpack is sort of similar. The equipped monster gains 700 attack. During each of your standby phases, the equipped monster loses 200 attack. And I think this card is just the best equipped card in the game at this point, which is a little funny to say. We get Axe of Despair pretty soon. We get Malevolent Nuzzler pretty soon, but I think good on release is fair. It takes 4 whole turns before the upside even wears off. If your monster has survived that long, you're already winning. That is very true. It's still just an equip card, and thus is bad. I can see that argument too. You don't want to get 2 for 1. Flowers for Algernon moment. Yeah, Stimpack is good on release, I think. Plus, you can put it on those direct attackers, you know? Okay. What's a much better card on release? Probably Heavy Storm. I mean, we all know that. I think it's meta at one point. We got Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster now, so it's not exactly relevant anymore, but Heavy Storm, normal spell, destroy all spell and traps on the field. Very simple effect, very strong effect, meta for quite some time. And the final card, the last secret rare in the set, is Thousand Dragon, which is a wind attribute, level 7, fusion monster. Looks like every single fusion monster is level 7 for some reason. Dragon fusion. Materials are Time Wizard, Baby Dragon, 2400 attack, 2000 defense. I'll put him in the gimmick tier. He's not great. Oh, wait a second. Heavy Storm's on the ban list at 0, but Harpy Feather Duster is at 1? What? What? Why would you do that? Why is Heavy Storm still banned? Oh, that's confusing. I guess there are some Heavy Storm combos, but yeah, Heavy Storm can trigger. I don't know, that just feels wrong. I guess Heavy Storm is a design mistake by necessity. Yes, Red Eyes, Black Dragon, and Thousand Dragon do have the same stat lineup. That is weird. I don't know. Heavy Storm might come off the list someday. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But here's the rough list. It's quite late. I have to sign off for tonight, but had a great stream and I enjoy having you all here. So I appreciate that. Good night.